And I want to push back on something. And this is some people said this. I don't know if you've said it. I feel like you've been kind of in the middle, but I know Vish would agree with this. Is that I want to see Trey Lance play as soon as possible.
Yeah, I like that too. I just think he should earn it, but I think he will.
Yeah, I agree with the fact that he should earn it, but I think even after the draft, some of the reporting, because I saw like Schefter of the world, the two things that people put out from the national side were that Trey Lance was off the charts in terms of cerebral, right?
Yes.
He was just brilliant in terms of football and all that stuff. I think that's what helped him probably a lot. The other thing I saw was that they're going to try and use him a little bit of that Taysom Hill strategy. At first. Yeah. If they're not going to play him, they're going to at least try and get him involved in the offense a little, which I like because you want to get the guy out there and get some reps. But I think overall,
he'll be a factor in the offense, whether or not he's starting week 1 or not. I think that's true.
Absolutely. Yeah. But from more of a macro perspective, for Kyle Shanahan, I think this is one of the more interesting academic exercises of his career. I mean, it really is. You see what happened with RG3 in Washington. And he got hurt right away. And that was kind of like only the tip of the iceberg. I think what they're trying to build is some hybrid of that RG3 and that Baltimore Ravens offense that we see right now. To me, that's going to be like the ideal Trey Lance offense because, I mean, I think the mistake I made, and even you would admit to it, Grant, during the draft process with Trey Lance, is we were like, he didn't throw the ball enough. He didn't throw the ball enough on all this stuff. It's like
they don't want to.
How many times
they want to run?
Is he going to throw the ball? They're going to run it 60% of the time, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try and break that Baltimore Ravens record, if not get really close. I mean, and if you look at the rest of their draft, it tells you exactly that. I mean, their next 2 picks guard, he's going to be integral to that run game. If you look at what Baltimore does with how they pool guards, with the movement they use, all that different kinds of stuff. I mean, if you think
they're going to be adding a lot of that Baltimore stuff to the offense they already have in place. Yes,
exactly. And if you look at the 2019 offense the Niners had, that was second in the league. And I mentioned all this stuff. I was tweeting to you about this, but the important thing is they were second in rushing offense and did all kinds of great stuff with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's going to be even It's going to be supercharged with Trey Lance. It's going
to be, and you know, he was saying, Kyle was saying, like, I'm really excited to actually have the ability to do 11-on-11 football. It presents a lot of problems for the defense. Yeah, that's what they have now. They don't always have to do that. They can put him under center and he can be a traditional quarterback, but it's something he can do, and they're going to use it because you'd be stupid not to. And the thing that's great about him as opposed to RG3 is he's built to run the ball.
Exactly.
He's way bigger than Trey Sermon. He's way bigger than every running back the Niners have. Let him go.
Exactly. And I think you mentioned this. It's important. He's already going to be the best runner on the team. He's going to be the best athlete. I mean, so
just like Lamar Jackson in Baltimore.
Yeah, but here's the difference, even Grant, with Lamar Jackson, he doesn't have the weapons that Trey Lance.
He doesn't have the arm that Trey Lance has. Like when it's time to finally do a play action pass, Lamar's a good thrower, but he ain't like Lance. Lance is going to be able to throw bombs down the field. Brandon Ayuk is going to show a totally different skill set. It's going to be great.
Well, and just think about if you even look at all their main 3 pass catchers, they're all taking jet sweeps around the back too. So to me, it's like Baltimore supercharged. It's like I want to get off this for a second, but I just got to end with this Trey Lance thing, man. I'm so happy. I was so relieved. It was a nice feeling, and it's strange, really, to see you so positive. So I got to put that out.
I'll find something to be negative about later.
Yeah, I will say the 2 things I wanted to mention: pick 43 or pick 48 eventually, and 102. I feel like they had better options at corner, and then they got taken the pick ahead of them. If you look, Asante Samuel Jr., of course, he got taken by the Chargers at pick number 47. Right there with Aaron Banks. And I'm not mad at the Aaron Banks pick. It's just Asante Samuel Jr. would have been awesome for the secondary. And then if you look at the next pick where they actually picked the Michigan corner, the Syracuse corner got picked 1 spot ahead of him, who everyone loved. And I was both times when that happened, I was like sitting on my couch, just like, oh God, this is the worst. But besides that, I think overall you hit it. You hit the main point, which is that like, they filled positions of need and they took multiple shots at the dartboard for it. You know, they always talk about the draft. You want all these darts, you want all these picks, you want all these opportunities to get better. And the 49ers, if they got the quarterback position figured out, you know, that's going to make this successful or not, right? But if you look at the rest of the draft, it's 2 guys at all the positions that they really need to make better right now. And I think the one position you could have argued that they may have taken at the end of the draft would be a guy like, or to be a wide receiver, and there were still good wide receivers available in undrafted free agency. Like they got Austin Watkins. That guy, that was one of, I think, the better moves of day 3 for them. Because if you look at it, that was a guy everyone I remember. I saw Niners fans when pick 194 came up, I think it was. They were like, oh, Austin Watkins. And then you go and get him in undrafted free agency. So I think I hate to be like super positive, but I don't really know what to be super critical of either. I mean, we'll see how it pans out because, like you said, like multiple times, it's all about Trey Lance, right?
All about Trey. Yeah.
But I think more than anything, they had put their thumb on the heartbeat of this team, and they have an identity now, and they're building an offensive identity, which Kyle can really get behind. I think that's one of the more important things to me. I think Kyle's more happy than anyone right now because they're building this big bruising team with Trey Lance, and they're just gonna bulldoze people. And like the play action, it's gonna be. I think it's just going to be outrageous, honestly. Like I think in 2-3 years, if this works out how we think it's going to work out, they could go for it all and win it all, and they could do it running the ball and passing the ball 8 times a game. Like they could. So it's funny because on the one hand, Kyle's evolving, right? But then on the other, it's like he's running instead of saying, oh, I need that Patrick Mahomes, whatever, right? Like everyone was saying, he's like, no, I just want to run the ball more. I just want to keep running the ball, which is really funny to me. But yeah. Hey, I'll get out of there on that, Grant. I just want to say, man, you've been doing some awesome stuff lately, and I always enjoy this stuff.
I appreciate it. I'm going to crash out in a minute, but we're going to keep this going for a couple more minutes. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure to see you, man.
Seriously, though, great work over the draft. You did some.
Thank you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.